I've been harvesting the Yacon and the Oca from the orchard beds here, and now I'm getting them ready for storing to eat this winter and also for planting next spring, so that I've got more Oca and Yacon plants to grow on for next autumn's harvests. Now, Yacon is a large root vegetable. It produces big tubers like this, but also skinny ones. And it's quite a diggy plant. I find that you have to loosen the soil around a bit like you would with a parsnip. And then you can pull the crown, and most of them come up with the plant, but many stay in the ground. So it's a bit of more loosening the soil and getting in there and getting the tubers out. It doesn't look like much, but believe me, it's delicious. It's sweet, it tastes of pear, it's fresh and crunchy and stores really well somewhere cool and dry and away from rodents over winter. And you can eat it cooked and raw. My favourite is to eat it raw because it's such a treat to have something that tastes like that during the winter. You can use it like a radish in quick pickles, grate it in salads, yum. Or cook it, thinly slice, deep fry or oven bake to make crisps. Use as you would a turnip or a swede, and honestly, give it a try next year. It's so good. And the tubers are the things that I eat. So what I'm going to do is leave them to dry, and then I can brush off the mud, but I'm not going to wash them. And then store them, making sure I use any, like this one, which I accidentally chopped in half with my spade. I'll use those first. Meanwhile, I've got here the crowns, and this is what the tubers grew from. I have a whole box of them here. And with these, I'll be storing them in compost for the winter, just slightly damp. I'm going to line a plastic crate with some polythene from a compost bag with some holes in, fill that with slightly damp compost, put the tubers in, the crowns in, and bury them, and put this somewhere cool and dark and away from rodents and frost free for the winter time. In the spring, once the last frost has passed, out they can go in the garden. I've got plenty here to share with my friends. I'm sorry I can't sell them online. So that's Yacon. Definitely good to grow. These came from the plants that I had growing on my allotment when I lived in Somerset. So these were harvested late autumn last year in Somerset. I stored the crowns, brought them with me here, and I got this harvest. The Oca is slightly different because it's the tubers that I want to grow on next year. So I'll be leaving these to dry just so I can brush off the dirt. With both of these, I'm not going to wash them. If I wash them, they won't store so long, but just brush the mud off with a toothbrush or a vegetable brush. And then these can be cooked or eaten raw, and they taste lemony. So Yacon tastes a bit like pear, Oca tastes lemony, and you can use them like you would in new potato. They're really nice, just cooked like steamed or boiled. You can also eat them raw, they're crunchy. But for 2 weeks, I will leave these on a windowsill, and this helps to sweeten them and also reduces the oxalic acid in them. I'm going to be saving the bigger tubers to grow on next year, and they'll just sit in a cardboard box somewhere cool and dry, in my office somewhere where I keep my seeds. And then in the spring, a month or so before I want to plant them out, again after the last frost, I will plant them in pots of compost and let them grow on, so that I've got 4, 5, 6 weeks extra growth. I'll put them in the greenhouse or on a windowsill somewhere frost free, and then they can be planted out as little established plants. They've got very pretty foliage. They're both called perennial plants. Really, in our climate, they are much better brought out of the soil and stored over winter and then replanted. But once you've got Oca or Yacon, you will have harvests for evermore almost if you save the crowns and the tubers every winter time. I do recommend giving these a try. You can buy Oca and Yacon online, and they really are a delicious and unusual flavour for winter time.